As much as we all like to rip on men, this is time to take some accountability.
And then we had
Fedora at the ocean.
we had
It's crazy.
two tweets. Let's
Oh,
react to
my
those.
Twitter's nuts.
Oh, goodness.
It could say anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this one. 20% of married dudes cheat. Where do you get that stat from? Since we're talking about stats.
Oh, that one? She pulled that one out of her ass.
I don't remember where I looked it up, but I know I looked it up before I posted this.
20% of men leave their wives when she becomes chronically. You know that study was retracted?
I know just from friends and family who work in hospital settings and who work in chronic care, that is something where they have to like sit the woman down when she's diagnosed and actually prepare them on what to do when their husband leaves them, because it happens so often.
Stop the cap.
Yeah, except the studies on that's anecdotal. All the studies that they've done on that, well, the one in particular that's often cited, that I believe you're citing there, it was retracted because they made multiple errors in how they coded the study.
All right, well, then I'll have to look more into that. But speaking anecdotally from the people that I know that work in that type of care, it's incredibly common.
So you're saying in these institutions, these healthcare institutions, there's a policy where they sit down the wife, and if she has a spouse or whatever, they tell her, by the way, there's a risk your husband's going to leave you. So there's a gendered policy on this?
There's a support staff member that will come in and we'll talk to them
for
about.
the women, though.
There's support staff that comes in for both, but one of the talking points specifically for the women is to usher them through that point of
don't
change.
You think that's sexist?
But we don't see it happen with men.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Yes,
we don't see that happen like we do.
Yeah,
It's
it's never happened in the history of humanity.
Of course
a woman
it has.
divorced her
Of course it has.
husband who has cancer.
But I'm saying the frequency is not
what
there.
evidence do you have for the claim?
Just, again, I'm only going off of the study that apparently was retracted. I haven't seen that. And then anecdotal evidence.
I mean,
I know women who have gotten chronically ill and then their partner has left them. I don't know of any man that has gotten chronically ill and then has been left. They usually get married, in my experience.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that happens both ways.
Of course, in some regard, but I think it's skewed one way over the other.
Well, it seems like women overwhelmingly end relationships. So this idea that men are these evil, devilish dogs who...
I didn't say that.
That seems to be the implication.
No, I was responding to something in that tweet.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not going to quote exactly what it was, but I remember somebody saying, like, women are the ones that break up families or something, or women are always the ones that, like, destroy families. And so that's why I quoted the fact that 94% of family annihilators are men, which is true. And then the other stats in there. I love men.
So that was a lie.
I genuinely do. And I'm not saying that they're evil, but I'm saying they're not innocent either.
Do we have the study? I think it's pulled up in one of the tabs. Do you have it? Make it bigger, please. Widely reported study suggesting divorce is more likely when wives fall ill gets axed, and this is from Retraction Watch, is invalid thanks to a short string of mistaken coding that negates the original conclusions published in the March issue of the Journal of Health and Social Behavior. So anyways, I mean...
So then what was the updated conclusion?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
But
so we don't have the updated stat.
Could be 19%.
Yeah, it could be. It could be 10. It could be 5. But regardless,
I suppose. And then pull the tweet back up, though. Oh, hold on. We have a TTS coming through. Or it's not a TTS because it's broken. I just have to read it. Thanks to feminism, women are more masculine than ever. Broadly speaking, emotions that aren't anger are usually considered feminine. To the panel, what does modern masculinity mean to you? Yeah, we can just move on to that. Go ahead, starting chair one.
Wait, what was the question again?
What does modern masculinity mean to you?
What does it mean to me? I don't know, someone that is very in tune with their natural instincts and thinks that's how men are supposed to live, like, and be. And I'm not saying like men in the past 50 years, like men, their actual nature before this whole surface level stuff, like what we're actually here for before like the jobs and like the actual purpose of men, that would be someone that is like actually masculine for me.
Or just going through each.
Yeah. So what do you think?
I think many things can be masculine. I think it doesn't have to just be your like, like the biology of like men need to provide and men need to hunt or whatever it was, or like I think a masculine men could stay home with kids personally, but I think it's kind of just, I don't think it's that cut and dry.
I think I think modern masculinity is the same as archetypal masculinity, where it's like the strength is seen as more masculine, but then also I think when you look at things more analytically instead of on the emotional side, I think that's considered masculine. I think it still is. Protection, which again is like strength. Yeah, I don't think the definition's changed. I think maybe people in our society exhibit them in different degrees, but I don't think it's changed.
Mm-hmm. I would say that I watched a brilliant movie the other night about Desmond Doss. Has anybody heard of him before? Okay. Basically, he saved like 75 people during the World War II, I believe. And I think he's a great example of masculinity in general, having high integrity, high emotional intelligence, courage, unapologetic about himself and his values, and is sworn to a higher purpose than himself.
Yeah, I really resonate with what both the previous lady said, because I think masculinity in its definition hasn't really changed over time. And I also think, of course, there's the differentiation between toxic masculinity versus healthy. And so the rigid definition being that men need to be providers or to be physically strong or stoic, I don't think that is beneficial, and that doesn't behoove relationships.
So let me get this straight. Being a leader, having strength, and being a provider has no benefits in a relationship. The whole time I thought that was the gold standard.
A healthier version of masculinity could be a man who has the desire to take care of his loved ones, but is still in touch with his emotions and is able to be mature and emotionally intelligent and in tune with his soft side. Because I think all human beings, we have a mix of masculine and feminine polarities. And so a healthy man to me is someone who is not 100% strictly masculine, but is comfortable with adopting qualities and facets of sort of both archetypes.
So what do you think draws the line between healthy masculinity and toxic masculinity?
Yeah, I think it's not for me to decide, because I think that can be arbitrary, but when I see toxic masculine discourse or diatribe on the internet, oftentimes it's either attacking certain types of people or attacking certain behaviors, or overall being more inflammatory or just having a very strict agenda in mind. Because I think flexibility and fluidity is very important in relationships and in human dynamics. So for me, the big differentiator is just how rigid are you in your thinking, and how strictly are you trying to enforce your beliefs on other people? Because I believe that the healthier mindset that you have, typically the more accepting you are just to hear other people out and to look at different mindsets that are different from your own.
So she wants a woke liberal man that'll accept any and everything. Good luck with that.
Oh, I was going to say, I completely agree with you. I feel like also social media has like skewed our idea of masculinity. Like for me, I want a man that's going to make me feel safe and support me, but not like financially per se. Just somebody that like I can come home to. And also I think like biologically, like we're all equal, but we're also not. Like men, I believe, are more logical at like what do you call it, like first, and then we're more like nurturing. There's like so many other ones, but like at the end of the day, like we're still on the same level. There's just like when we think about things, there's like certain aspects of a situation that they're gonna focus on differently than we will, even like if we do have the same like beliefs. So I just want somebody that will like make me feel safe and like supports me and just open-minded, like yeah, like isn't gonna like attack women for being women. And like I just believe we all have like, what's the word I'm trying to think of, like our duties in a relationship are just as like men and women, and we should be able to like, God, I can't even think of the word right now. Damn. Oh my God, I cannot think right now.
Holly, what about you?
I think Trump brings masculinity back. Trump is on fire.
I'm gonna come. Oh.
You go to his rallies, those men are men. There's more men enlisting in the army, of the military, everything down the line. The guy's brilliant. He's put a fire on. I've gone to the Charlie Kirk rallies where those guys are just dynamic. The group of people that he's about. I mean, it's like I can't handle wussy California skipping liberal boys. I want a man's man. I want a protector and a provider. And Trump has done that across the world. If you saw what he's done through the Middle East and the whole bit, everybody's cheerleading him. And don't worry about Canada, because it's going to be the 51st state soon. We're going to save their asses.
Please do.
We are. I'm serious. No more fairy boys, and hallelujah to President Trump. We pray for you daily, President Trump. You are magnificent, President Trump, and we thank you for saving our country and saving our men. Because you look at Trump, look at how many brilliant women he has working for him on his team. Those women are so dynamic. He doesn't go against women.
Yeah, blonde one and blonde two with fake tits one and fake tits two. So many dynamic women.
Here we go again.
Well, that's hot.
What's fake here? Why can't people do?
I think I'm the only one with fake tits here, baby.
Well, what's wrong with that?
I'm saying he doesn't have dynamic women. He has one type that he's
faked it.
That's not
hired.
true.
Well,
Not
yes, Sarah
everybody.
Huckabee Sanders, who looks like me, was ugly as shit, but that's not. He didn't have any other ones.
I think she might have some TDS, little Trump derangement syndrome in her system. You might want to check that out.
I think all of his women are capable women.
I
They
think
are
they're
capable women.
capable
He's put
of
them in
what? Reading from a teleprompter?
leading the country.
Leading in what? What woman is
The
leading
border
anything?
right now, Kristi Noem.
You think that she's okay?
She's
I'm arguing
beautiful.
with a wall. I don't care if she's beautiful. She's not dynamic or
Yes, she
leading.
is.
Okay.
I thought you were supportive of OnlyFans girls and all this nudity. That's a perfect example of someone that is literally kind of
Me?
No, yeah, his wife. He's like
His wife is fine. I love that I've seen my first lady's bush. That rocks.
Nasty bitch.
I love his wife.
I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with OnlyFans girls or anything of the sort. I'm saying let's not champion Trump like he's got a dynamic range of women working in the White House.
Does.
Okay.
All of those women are exceptional.
Sure.
And he's given them leadership roles.
Yes, I agree with that. He's also given like a 19-year-old a leadership role.
A 19-year-old who's
Or the 22-year-old, whoever.
The ex
No,
supermarket
there's
person?
someone who's leading. I forget the cabinet name.
Doge?
It's not Doge.
No, the guy.
Wow, the irony. She's calling the women that Trump hired stupid, but she's the one that's looking stupid now with all this disinformation.
Are you talking
Big
about
Balls,
the
or what's his
defense
name?
guy who was a grocery store clerk?
What's that balls
Yes.
guy name?
He worked at a supermarket and now
Yeah.
he's like head of
He's leading.
security
I
or
forget
something.
the name of the department, so I don't want to butcher it. But like, come on now.
Come on, what? You, sir, are fake news.
What?
You're saying that FDT, but
We'll
like
make an example. If
Trump is
make a
supporting
statement.
masculine men, and yet he's cutting funding to the VA, to Medicare, to Medicaid.
He is not.
Yeah, he has. It's in the big beautiful
He
bill,
has
baby.
cut
It
from
just
VA.
passed. Go to Congress.gov. You can see it.
He's cut USAID. You know what USAID does?
He's cut a lot of things.
He
the
cut
VA.
USAID.
Sure,
You know what
and
that
he
did?
also cut
That was money
Medicaid.
laundering.
Okay,
He also did cut
And-
the VA.
I bet
Like,
you
not
believe
all
in
of it, but some
Pizzagate
of
too.
I do believe in
Okay,
Pizzagate.
well then we're moving on
completely.
because I can't argue with a brick.
I'm not a brick. It's truth, and if you can't handle the truth,
Yes.
I
Okay.
think she can handle the truth. She's
What
handling it fine.
what's the number one commodity worldwide?
What do you mean?
What's the number one commodity worldwide?
Go ahead and tell me.
No, I'm asking you.
And I'm asking you. Go ahead and tell me. What's the number one commodity worldwide?
Trafficking.
Okay. And I'm sure that they were selling children underneath the pizza's parlor.
Huh?
Trump went to Epstein Island like 19 times.
No, he didn't. He never went.
All right.
He
Again, I'm
never
arguing with a
went.
brick, and I'm not going to do that. I
I'm
feel
not a
like I'm
brick.
talking with my old neighbor.
Never happened.
Well, what do you feel about Elon Musk saying that it did happen?
Yeah. His boy.
It's because his bestie did go
So
on
anyways,
Twitter and say
There's
it did.
photos.
Anyways.
What do you mean?
There's
There's photos of Donald
Never
Trump hanging
happened.
out with Jeffrey
He
Epstein.
never would have made president
let's
if it
out.
did.
Well,
Okay.
can I just say that
We can-
Elon and Trump definitely had a very public breakup.
They did have a public breakup.
Very public.
It did rule.
It did.
Who here would date a Trump supporter? Show of hands.
I think so.
No. No. No.
Me?
No, you wouldn't date a Trump. Your boyfriend, he's a Kamala voter, or
He did vote for Kamala, yes.
your husband. Your husband voted for Kamala.
My active duty manly man husband, yes.
You serious? Okay. All right. Got some. Who voted for Kamala? Did you vote?
No.
You vote. You're a Trump supporter. You just wouldn't date a Trump supporter.
I didn't vote, period.
Into the mic.
I didn't vote, period.
Okay. Who? So are you a Trump supporter or no?
I'm not a Trump supporter.
Who did you vote for?
I didn't vote this time.
This time. All right. Trump. Who did you vote for?
Kamala.
I was out of state, so I couldn't vote.
I was out of the country. I couldn't vote.
Kamala.
I'm in
Well, you're
Canada, man.
Canadian.
It doesn't matter.
You're
Cooked
Canadian.
either way.
We have a message here. Pacey George, Chair 3, real evidence and statistics are key, not anecdotal hearsay. Imagine if courts allowed such nonsense. Yes, Your Honor, it happened because I said so. Without factual evidence, LOL.
They took my phone. How am I supposed to look it up?
Literally.
They took my cell phone, and I didn't know I was going to have Miss MAGA on the panel. I didn't prepare for that part. I thought we were just
Okay.
talking about
what,
dating.
What are some of the other reacts that we have? Huh?
The next tweet from Jesse.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. God, it could say
Hide that
anything.
one. Hide the super chat. Put us on the other side, please.
Oh, yeah.
Men like women who are inconvenient and make them. Here, you read it in your own voice, please.
Men like women who are inconvenient and make them work for their attention. The sexiest thing that you can be is busy.
Y'all smoking crack! Something is wrong with you people!
This is the worst take that liberal feminist misandrists have ever come up with. Now you know why they're all single.
It's in the corner, I guess. Actually, whatever. Why do you think that?
Men don't like it's always kind of like a game of chase. Men tend to be a little bit more avoidant than women, but people always want what they can't have. They like having something to work for. So I know guys who have said that they don't think that women have hobbies, which is not true, but I know a lot of women who kind of just shrink themselves in their hobbies and center a man in their life, and that's needy. That's chasing. Nobody likes
Pull
to
the tweet
be.
back up really quick. Men like women who are inconvenient and make them work for their attention. The
Yeah.
sexiest thing you can be is busy.
Do you want somebody who's just, I'm here. When are you going to date me?
Yeah.
Take me on a date.
Well, hold
Take
on.
me on a
Now
date.
You're painting an extreme case here.
Brian noticed that one quick. She automatically tried to paint the girl as clingy and annoying just to make her point. Good eye.
So pull it back up one more time. Just want to make sure I have it. Okay, inconvenient and being busy. So I disagree with both those claims. I don't think men want a woman who makes things inconvenient. And that is your position, right?
Yeah.
It's an inconvenience to attempt to hang out with you, and you being busy, so it's difficult to make plans. No,
Nobody likes anything that's way too easy and way too available.
Maybe you guys as women, but
No, I'm
most
talking
men-
from men. I'm in two male-dominated industries.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my friends are guys. Most of the people that I talk to are
Are
guys.
most of your friends comedians?
A lot of them are comedians, and a lot of them are also just working in television. That's
Okay.
also primarily men.
Mostly friends with liberal men, or
No, most comics are not liberal. So I got a mix. But yeah, both of them, or both liberal and conservative friends of mine, they get the ick, so to speak, if a woman is way too available.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you this. If it was going in one direction or the other, so perhaps let's say there's a happy medium, but if it had to err more on one side or the other, you think men would prefer a woman who's too available or a woman who's not available enough?
Not available enough.
You gotta be kidding me. Why would I want an inconvenient girl that I have to chase because she's so busy? What benefits does that bring to my life?
And women, I think people just in nature, you want what you can't have. You like working for something.
For women.
I think it's the case for both.
No, I think this idea, and this is really something that I think women do quite frequently, this idea that you want to play hard to get. If you play hard to get, you quickly become hard to want.
Nah.
So, yeah.
That's how my mom got her ring. That's how I got mine. That's my mom's biggest advice to me when it went into dating. She was like, just play hard to get. She played hard to get with my dad, and he proposed in like 4 months.
I think you want to be hard to get.
I'm not saying that it's an impossibility, but this idea that this is like a good advice to give somebody when it comes to dating.
The first time I ever played hard to get was when I got a ring. So
is that your
boyfriend
he's
dead.
Who passed?
You're a victim. Here we go, CSI.
Yeah.
So you guys were engaged?
Yeah.
Okay. But are you saying had you not played hard to get, he just would have not been into you?
I think that's really what drove it ultimately, because he was very avoidant initially, and he was seeing a bunch of very beautiful women, and we connected more as friends first, and then it just kind of built like that. But then I made myself less and less available, and then he started chasing.
So just to be clear, the foundation of your relationship was based on you playing a game?
No.
I mean, it quite literally. You were conducting...
It wasn't a game.
How was it not a game?
It was me saying, okay, I'm not going to throw all of my eggs in this basket. I'm not going to make myself too available. I'm going to play a little hard to get, and I'm going to just...
Play hard to get.
Gotcha, bitch!
She just said it herself. She's going to play hard to get. And that game is playing hard to get.
Figure of speech. I'm going to make myself less readily available. I'm not going to drop everything when he comes and... Yeah.
Let's say you were free.
Yeah.
Say it was a Monday. Hey, are you free on Thursday or Friday? And you are free, but you tell him you're not.
I wouldn't do that.
So, okay, in what ways would you not make yourself available?
I'm very rarely free. I'm saying I wouldn't make myself available in that, okay, I have something scheduled with a friend that I'm going to dinner with a friend. And he's like, do you want to hang out that night? I'm not going to cancel on that friend, but I'll tell you when I am available.
Well, that seems perfectly normal. I wouldn't categorize that as being hard to get. That's just respecting your pre-existing commitments to hang out with somebody else.
Yeah, but anxiously attached people, which tends to be the attachment style more for women than anybody, will go ahead and cancel those plans. I was anxiously attached beforehand. Will make themselves that's making yourself too available, is prioritizing that person and waiting around for them and just trying to fixate them as the center of your world.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even categorize... If you have a pre-existing plan and you hold to those plans despite perhaps another plan manifesting that might be better, or there's this guy you really like, I wouldn't categorize that as playing hard to get or making yourself intentionally unavailable. You were just, as a statement of fact, unavailable.
Yeah. We have different definitions for playing hard to get, evidently.
Okay, but pull it back up, the tweet again. The sexiest thing you can be is busy.
Yeah. Men like women with hobbies and a whole life outside of them. And if you don't, God bless. But
I think the reality is, I think if the woman is too on top of you, perhaps I can see the angle there, but I can just as easily say that if I've made multiple attempts to hang out with you and you're making it difficult for me to actually make that happen, I just lose interest. There's other options. On to the next one.
Yeah.
So I can guarantee you as women, there are men who are that you're interested in. And look, if you're genuinely busy, you're genuinely busy. But there are going to be scenarios where the dude's just going to move on. So this idea that a guy's going to perpetually chase you when you're busy.
that strategy is definitely not going to work on the guys that have looks, money, and status. They're just going to move on to a girl that looks better and who's less busy. It's a no-brainer.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
That's what I call a chain reaction.
Manifest my own destiny. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. The perfect recipe. May they remember me. My words will live on. I'm guided by your energy, your flame. Hold it close to you. Check out my melodies. It's the media that's been leading you. I'll show you a thing. Misdirection was the message. They don't want you to win.
As much as we all like to rip on men, this is time to take some accountability.